Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the August 5th edition of the Dawn Patrol. We have with us this morning, we have Selectman Chairman from the town of Tewksbury, as John McDonough calls it, the land of Oz, Mark Kratman. At 6 o'clock, we have Cameron Cassella and, what's his first name, Mr. Santos? What's his first name? Artie Santos coming in at 7 o'clock. But first of all, we just want to give a little update. My co-host, Bob Hoey, is doing a lot better. It seems he's getting better and better every day, and same with our friend Ned Tarmey. So we just got to keep the prayers going for both of them. I know him, Bob, he'll be back here like in 2 weeks. I don't think he'll see it, but, you know, he'd love to be back here today.
Bobby wants to be out of the hospital today.
Yeah. So he's doing good. He's comfortable, and just miraculously a great comeback. Just hope it stays on that pace. So John, Mark, how you doing? How's everything in Tewksbury? He's not a new manager anymore. He's been there, almost a year? He's been there a year yet?
No, he hasn't been there a year. No. He's been there probably about 8 months.
Okay, almost like our manager, yeah. Our new manager started back in January. Yeah.
Yeah, he started right before her.
Yeah.
But it was like around the same time.
And as we were talking, you're the chairman of the board now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, back in the hot seat.
yeah. But
Yeah.
things are going good out there?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I think we're in a good place in Tewksbury. It's, we plan ahead for most things, and, we're in a good place, and, that residents seem to be overall happy of what's going on. We're doing a lot of work in the community. We got a lot of nice things that are going on, and there's no real major battles, and there's a couple of concerns here and there, but there's no, major things that there's nothing that we got in the future that's going to be like the.
Sure, it seems our new manager basically is, she's been there, like I say, since January, and
Yeah.
she's doing well, is what I'm hearing. Even like from town employees, I'm hearing the same thing. She's made it a very comfortable work environment, but she's making she expects you to do your job. And a lot of people, some of the people, the older time employees, aren't happy with that. They think it's going to stay the same. And for example, she did a trial, and it might state she did a trial. What do they call it? Like a trial run. They changed the hours of town hall for the summer. And they were going in at 8:00, closing at 4. On Tuesdays, they close at, they used to close at 7, they close at 5:30. And on Fridays, they close at 11:30. But they make it's working
Yeah.
out. Residents are liking it, because sometimes residents can't get, with schedules, can't get into the town hall at 8:30 in the morning. They get there for 8, or the nighttime hours work out good. So a lot of the employees like that, so we'll see what happens in September if she's going to keep it that way.
Most of the cities and towns are doing that because, we do the same thing. We did it probably, I think we started like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. The kids, the resident, you got to bring in good employees. And so
Right.
you're competing with all the cities and towns around you.
Right.
When you're trying to hire somebody for the DPW or Public Works or the Parks Department or, and even in the, the tax department, anything that you're trying to get somebody, other communities are trying to get people as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you got to stay competitive with what you're paying your employees and, and the benefits. And some of the benefits are, there's one night a week, like a lot of cities and towns used to do it on Thursday. We pick Tuesday.
They do it the night of the selectmen's meeting.
Yeah,
what
so
they did in
that's what we
Drake.
do the same
Yeah,
thing. We have
yeah.
ours on Tuesday, where every Tuesday we're open a little bit later. So you get out of work and you're not, and you can't, you don't have to take time off of work to come and pay a bill, or if you got a concern or you need to go
Right.
to the clerk's office, or go to water department, whatever you need to do, you can come in on one night a week and it's open a little bit later. And on
Yeah.
Friday, we close up at noon.
Right, right.
So,
And it's such a change, even with like town employees, I was
Well,
saying.
the other thing too is, you guys answer the phone. You call down to Lawrence City Hall, they don't answer the phone. They go by caller ID. If they recognize the caller, they'll pick it up. They don't recognize the caller, goes to voicemail.
Wow.
That's Lawrence City Hall.
Yeah.
Impossible.
The
Well,
only
we have to,
voicemail we have at town hall is when the hours are closed. That's the only time.
if we need something done at the town hall, we got to call one of our undertaker buddies down there in Lawrence. They call town hall, and
Yeah.
the town hall calls us back.
Wow.
That's how bad Lawrence has always been that way.
Wow.
They used to have a sign on the wall down there, "We're busy. Please write a note and leave the money, and
Wow.
come back tomorrow for your paperwork."
Wow. Wow. Unreal. As I was saying last week, I think on the show, we were talking about employees and everything. Now, when I started with the town back in 1980, every town employee in town hall, when I walked into town hall, lived in Drake, except me. I was living in Lowell and I moved to Drake. Now, I go in there, most of the people don't live in Drake because they're not even, they're going to other towns where there's better money, or there are people coming from other towns that are trying to, like our assistant town manager, she lives in Groton. She's also a selectman out in Groton. Doing a great job, but you just can't get, nobody's applying, nobody's.
now, you mentioned you got a new town manager.
Yeah.
Where'd the town manager come from? They work in another community?
She
before?
was, she was in Lancaster, Mass. Her first big job was assistant town manager in Concord, Mass.
Yeah.
And then she was, and I got a story to tell you. I was on the screening committee. And then she went to the Lancaster. She was a town administrator in Lancaster.
Yep.
But I'll never forget when I was on the screening committee, and the screening committee got their resumes and everything. And I'm looking at hers, and I'm saying, Lancaster, small community, and no, this is she came into the interview, she hit it right out of the park. I mean, she did her homework, she studied the town, she knew everything that was going on in the town, the community, budgets, and some people came in, they really didn't know a lot, they didn't do their homework. And like I say, what I'm hearing around town, so far so good. I tell you, there was people complaining about a $9 a quarter increase in the sewer bill. A lot of people complaining about the trash bill, but I'm hearing, you guys pay for trash out in your community? Oh, not yet?
Right.
Okay, it hasn't
I
happened.
don't see it. Like, we have Republic that we have it already built in,
Yeah.
part of our budget.
Okay, that's what we did. We had Republic, now we have Cassella, I think the name of the company is out of Salem. I think
Yeah.
we have.
I've
So-
seen the trucks around for
Yeah,
Cassella, things like that.
yeah, so.
But,
But you're never going to make, as you know, your manager's Curran, is that his
Curran,
name?
yeah.
He's never going to make everybody happy, neither will this girl, and,
well, I mean, like, you've been on the interview committees and you've brought them in, and I remember, like, we had a screening committee there, did the interviews to break
Right.
it down, and we hired the professional company
here,
to come in
yeah.
to do the reviews. And, we had a list of concerns of, like, who you wanted to be your next town manager.
yeah,
And I had one simple question for all of them, and I wanted them to, I'm like, will you listen to the residents? Because a lot of times you got people that come into the department, they got their own way of running it, and you got elected officials, and the elected officials appoint the town manager, and sometimes you get a town manager or something like that that thinks, well, I'm not running for re-election, so I don't have to listen to them,
Right,
know?
right.
But the people that are elected better be telling them, or telling her, or whatever it may be, that you better be listening to the residents.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing you're hearing out of community. People want their voices heard. They don't want the rhetoric of years past. You can see in all the elections where, there's nobody's safe from the, I've been institutionalized, I've been here, I've been doing this job so long, I don't have to worry about it. Those days are gone. If
Yeah.
you're not doing what the residents want, you better sharpen your resume, because you'll be out the door before you know it.
Well, I'm sure, and I always say everybody has a shelf life. I always
Yeah.
say that about everything, and I'm sure that's probably what happened with Mr. Curran out in Borica. He was there, 10, 15 years, and maybe it was getting stale, and maybe he needed to change himself to go to another community. And we know when you can't make 4 selectmen happy, or 3 selectmen happy, and now it's a it's a real mess out there. They lost a pretty good person from here, and the guy they had replaced him because of one selectman that was giving him a real hard time. I think his name was Clancy. He ended up in Haverhill as the business manager for the school department. But a lot of residents weren't happy with that. I'm hearing from people I know in Borica, so.
The one thing that I liked about John is that he did a lot in economic development is one of the things that the only way you can reduce taxes in communities to make sure you have a thriving business, storefronts, and bring in businesses that cut the taxes of what the residents are paying. So if you get a lot of commercial in your community, that helps reduce what the residents are paying.
Right.
And we have a lot of areas that needed help. I mean, we're still pushing to bring in, a lot of the planning that we did on 38, we have zoning bylaws and all the things where, people find a way to beat the system.
Yep.
So we have a mixed-use development, and someone will say, hey, listen, I'm gonna put so many storefronts and I'm gonna put all the residential behind it. Well, what do? They build the storefronts out front, but they kind of make it so that there's 1 or 2 parking spots for a commercial storefront. Well, who in their right mind is gonna rent a storefront where you only have 1 or 2 parking spots? Like, how are people gonna get into the business?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you got all those residential, if you build so many residential in the back, and there's not enough parking to make it vibrant, the people that come in, no one's gonna pay what you're asking for a commercial property.
Sure,
It's
sure.
difficult for people to come in, it's not something that looks, enticing for somebody to come in and buy goods from you at this place.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is a lot of these storefronts, instead of vacant, and the
Right.
developers do it on purpose.
Right.
Because there's more money to be made off of residential. You build a house in the back, it's gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what they do is they come in and say, oh, we've done our best to try to, rent this place out. and we can't get anybody that wants to do it, so now we want to convert it into residential. And so they play the game, and it's just, and they end up making more money.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we got to kind of look at that and say, listen, if you're building something, you're going to be making something that's, you know, that a business will actually say, yes, that's what I want to rent, or whatever it is. And you can't just keep building these things saying, oh, we got this zone for a tax accountant or a hairdresser, or because they don't have a, if they don't put like the you know, the drainage and the you know, and the sewer contaminant and things like that for like a restaurant or things like that. So you can't get anybody that's going to put a pizza shop or things like that because they don't have the proper equipment in there. So it's going to only be for a tax accountant, like I said, an office building, a small thing like that. And how many nail salons do you really need? How many, you know, it's like, you know.
There's a joke out in Drake all the time,
Yeah.
how many donut shops, how many
Yeah.
pizza shops, but we
But
just don't
Tommy,
have.
Tommy and Mark, you got malls that are closing because people shop on the computer screen.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I need 6-inch pink shoelaces. And if I order it right now, they'll be here by noon. So you can't compete with that as a little store. If I own a Walmart or a Target or the Giant store, you can't compete with that. If you don't have customers, and but Mark made a good point. There's only 2 parking spaces. You're screwed.
Yeah.
I want a place to park.
And you see that a lot in these little plazas, even in Drake, where there's not enough spots. I like the people who'll put up a sign, you can't park in front of their place. The building inspector, you can't do that. Unless it was a condo, but if it's a rental plaza, you can't say reserved for this business only. They try to.
You can put 15-minute parking.
Yeah, they could do that, yep.
That works well for,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
when I go to my hairdresser, there's 2 spots, 15-minute parking, that's it.
My hairdresser, listen to him.
Yeah, when I get on the Maria, down the bottom of back Central Street.
Oh, you go down where Barry's is that where you go, where Barry's Bakery
No,
is?
I think it's called some hair design place. It's Maria Manessis.
Oh, okay.
That's where I go, and
Yeah,
she does my beautification down there. so
sure.
I'm happy.
She does a wonderful job, John.
Yes, she does, thank you.
So,
So, Mark, I mean, how do you guys account for people shopping on the screen? I mean, Walmart, you can park, there's parking spaces at Walmart you never had before. And people, they shop at home.
I mean, people, it's so much easier to order online. I get that. But, you know, also people want to go in, and like I'm still the old-fashioned person. I want to, like, you can buy something online, it looks beautiful online, and then the thing gets shipped to you, and it's like, this isn't what I was looking for, or the fit's not right, or the material's not made, this is itchy, or whatever it is. You know, I like going in. If I'm going to go buy something that I want to be wearing and be comfortable in, I want to look at it, I want to feel it, I want to see it, I want to see what it is. You know, I'm not the guy, if I buy something, I can't think of 5 times I've returned something. If I buy it, I decide that's what I want. The reason I don't go buy something just to buy it. I buy something either because I want it or I need it.
Well, just based on the woman of the shoppers in my life here,
Yeah.
and the stuff, and the delivery point is the funeral home, because they have a spot for dropping stuff off. And sometimes I'll open the door and there's like 20 packages out there. None of them for work. They're all for the girls who live on the property. My daughters-in-law, my wife, my sister-in-law. They just-
Amazon basically too? Basically Amazon probably.
Amazon, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks Ellen, Judy, Ann, just
Nothing for Johnny.
Shannon.
Nothing for Johnny.
Well, I haven't expected one thing today. We'll see what happens.
John, can I clarify for something?
Go ahead.
And this has been explained to me, because I have a lot of women around. It's like all the women in the house and all the different people. Everything there is for you. Because if they're buying things that are making them happy, then your life is a lot easier. So if they're getting something like a pair of new shoes that go with the dress that they just bought, and they're going out and they're smiling and
Look, the
things like that,
54
that's
pair-
making your life easier. That's what, you gotta understand that every package is coming there is for the benefit of you. That's what I've been told. So it's,
My
I
wife's-
just go with it.
My wife's a reasonable shopper. My favorite sister-in-law is not. She's got 54 pairs of sneakers.
Yeah.
Sneakers! Talk about shoes.
We could open a Macy's in my wife's walk-in closet.
I know the
Tell her
feeling. I know the feeling.
Different curling irons to
Oh.
make the hair look nice and, all the
certain
different
shampoos
things.
and conditioners.
Oh, yeah.
And oh, God.
So that's all to make them, the reason they want to look nice is for you. So,
That's probably true.
So how's your Board of Selectmen? You guys pretty much all get along? Or is there good?
You know,
That's
we
good.
got- we got a
Your new
good
guy
board.
working out, what's his name? Who was the new guy who just elected back in?
Russo.
Russo, yeah, he's
yeah,
doing
no,
good.
Rich is, a lot of them like have been, it's the same thing in every city and town. Like you went and you were on something else before.
Sure,
Like we had Eric Ryder.
Yeah.
And Eric was, he's a basketball coach, he's a DPW director in another town.
Right.
Came through, we get high water and sewer rates, he's frustrated with all the things. He wants to bring in institutional knowledge and he thinks he can make the town a better place, so he came and he ran.
Great,
We
great.
got Rich Russo. He, the coach of Tewksbury Youth Football, been involved in sports, and he was on the school committee for years. Did that part, and now all of a sudden, he's decided there's an opening on the select board, he wants to get involved.
Sure.
We all talk to the residents, and the residents are, this is what they're concerned. So, I mean, you're walking around, you don't go to Donna's Donuts, you don't go to one of the coffee shops, you go to, Al Fresca's, Angelina's, and something like that. You don't sit there for 10 minutes without somebody coming over and telling you, hey, I'm concerned about this, or what's going on with that, and things like that. So we all hear it from the community, and so, people convince us into, hey, listen, we want you to go and, be part of this. I mean,
Right.
I did the same thing. It's like, I've been on the Patriotic Committee for now 20-something years, I don't even know, 23, 24 years, whatever, helping doing the Memorial Day and 4th of July and all those different things. And I did that for, 10 or 12 years before, I decided that I was going to run and get involved in the town politics. I just said, I'm going to do it in the background.
Sure.
And, then people say, hey, listen, somebody's leaving, you listen to us, will you go in? And that's the thing. People try to find someone that will listen to them that's in the government. And so if they call you, they just want you to, do what's best for the community.
Sure. You were saying earlier, one of the things that you were looking for in a town manager was a person who would talk to the residents. Now, is he
Not
doing?
talk.
Well,
It's
listen to the residents.
listen to what it
he?
is, yeah,
Is he
it's
doing
just-
that so far? Is he-
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, you gotta, every person has their own ideas of how
Yeah.
they think a town should run and revenue and how things, and, his job is to balance the budgets, work with the department heads and make sure everything's running. But, we have needs in the community. It's like, we have a large senior population. Traffic is always a concern. So when you want to bring in revenue, so you want to bring in commercial business and you want to build things.
Sure.
But if you're going to build something, like I always say, if you're going to build something, if a company's going to come in and they're going to make revenue off the town, well, what are they giving back to the town? Like, what are they going to put some mitigation into the thing so they widen the intersection, or the traffic isn't so bad when you're going in on those things? And a lot of we have a lot of small-time local businesses, and I tell people that when you're building something, those are the people, when you have your sports teams and your nonprofits and the seniors are doing something, those are the ones that are always giving back to the community.
Sure, sure.
You got the local, restaurants and things like that, they're always sponsoring something or helping the kids or doing a dine out, things like
Right,
that.
right.
Very rarely do you see that it's the, mega corporate businesses that are doing that, It's always the local mom and pop shops.
Sure.
Comment
Sure.
from the audience. The delivery business is only going to get bigger. We grew up going out and getting things. The younger generation use their phone for everything, even food. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I find it amazing that the kids will all have cars and they want something like they want like a roast beef sandwich or things like that, instead of driving down to the store and go order
DoorDash,
it.
all
or
those
DoorDash,
DoorDash,
and the thing
yeah.
comes and drops it off. But it's still being ordered from a local place. But it's if you got the revenue to do it, that's great. But those kids better have jobs.
Yeah.
They will pay for it.
That's all they do. They don't carry money. It's all with them. It's debit cards and credit cards. I mean, kids, they don't carry money. Even I was out with my 3 boys and my wife one night, and none of them had. I said to them, "Listen, guys, I'll pay for the dinner. You guys cover the tip. We have no money on us." I said, "There's an ATM over there. You can get money out of the ATM."
Well, they don't
every bar, restaurant has an ATM now. We can get money out of it.
They don't even use the cards anymore. You walk up and you see somebody paying gas at the gas station. They got their phone. They got
Yeah,
the app
yeah.
right on
I
the
saw
phone.
that the other day.
They use them all the time. It's like, here's my Apple Pay. My Apple Pay.
Yep, pretty
And,
cool stuff.
Yeah. So.
Does Apple Pay give you a rebate?
I never use it.
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
You're asking us. You're talking about
I use my-
me and him are the ones who go to the stores.
I use my Discover card, you get money back. Same smile, you
Oh,
get
I
money
have a
back.
Discover card, and I'm getting rewards on that big time, yeah. And they have a certain thing every couple of months. Like right now, it has going on, if I pay all my utilities with, like my gas bill, my electric bill, my phone bill, the cell phone, and I've already got like $150 for the last 2 months from rewards, from paying with the credit card,
Yeah, we started with the reward program probably 30 years ago with air miles. And
Okay.
I got a credit card from American Airlines, and my son's just flew out to Vegas on air miles.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, business class. When it's free,
No, but I mean, I'm the kind of guy that if I go in the store, which I'm sure you guys probably do the same thing, if I go in the store and I see a register and there's somebody working that register, I'll wait in line for that register because
yeah.
somebody's working there rather than go to. Now, if I'm going to a place and I have like one thing in my hand and I see a self-checkout and there's 30 people, am I going to wait for that? No, but if I'm get a shopping carriage and I go to like Walmart or Target or things like that, there's places where you can do the self-checkout yourself. But if I see 3 or 4 people working there, I'm like, well, this
yeah.
company's, if I keep using that person doesn't have a job. So I go over and it's, and keeping the economy going.
Yeah, yeah. What are you hearing about, because their main offices are in your community, the Demoulas thing, what's going on? What have you hearing about that? Anything? Have you heard anything? I know they're coming to mediation.
I've heard rumblings.
They
It's,
come,
like,
in September, they're coming to a mediation meeting or something?
yeah, they're going to have a mediation and there's all kinds of things being thrown out there.
Yeah,
But this is the way I've taken it. Like, I love Artie.
yeah.
Artie is, he's got all the support from
Absolutely.
everybody in our community. He has been nothing but fabulous
Yep.
for the town of Tewksbury. So the
Yep.
headquarters is located there. The things that he is given to that people don't even know about. And many times he would give to, charities and say, I'll give it, but one thing I don't want is people to know. Our food pantry, our things that, something that would happen in the community, like, listen, I'm giving it, but, it's anonymous of where this came from.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
But nothing but the love he has of the community is evident of what he does.
Sure, sure.
He lives in the community, he knows everything what's going on, so he cares about what's happening in the community. And, but he's fighting with his sisters.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've learned over the years, you get involved in a family fight, the only one who's gonna lose is you.
Yeah.
Because eventually they're gonna make up and they're family.
Yeah.
They may be bickering, they may be fighting, they may be doing whatever it is, but in the long run, they're gonna, family's family. They're gonna come back together and I'm hoping that calmer heads will realize that it doesn't, for me and you to be sitting there and listening to like billionaires fight over certain things, it's like kind of silly.
Yeah.
I mean, like the places, like he's been running the business and people are saying, well, he's not doing it the right, well, as far as I can see, you walk in a market basket, you ever see an empty register at market basket?
no.
You ever see, they're thriving.
But he's also walks into the stores.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the things I'm hearing about his sisters. They've never worked a day in their lives. He's out there working. He visits at least 5 or 10 stores a week, I'm told, and he goes in there and he just says hello to the customers. It's just and it's not like he's checking on his employees. He's there to see the people. You know what I mean? Greet the people.
Well, I talked to him personally, like about a week and a half or 2 weeks before it happened.
Yeah.
And we were talking about something else. I called him and said, hey, listen, we got, here's some of the concerns that are going on in the community. You know, I want to sit down and I want to talk to you about, you know, like Stadium Plaza, what's going on with that? It's on the Old Town line. You know, I know purposely you're not filling these storefronts because you're going to tear it all down and you're going to do the whole place over.
Yeah, new renovation,
But-
that's the next new store, the new.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the things and he apologized. He said, listen, I want this to be right. And because of everything that was going on with, you know, COVID dragged it out and the cost of construction cost and all the different things and then locking up leases with businesses and things like that, they were just, it got sidetracked with all the things that were going on. But he told me, you know, listen, let's sit down in like a month and we'll get together and things
Yeah.
like that. Like he wanted to be, you know, he wanted to make sure that the town understood that, you know, he cared about how this was gonna be. He wanted to do it, but he wanted to do it right. And I'm like, oh, you know, like I had zero concerns because in the long run, it's gonna be, if you let somebody do it right, it's always better over the long run.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, listen, I trust you.
Yeah.
Because you've shown that how much you care for the community. And then all of a sudden, when I thought we're just about to start making some real good progress on it, this happens.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I don't even know who to contact. You
Right,
know, it's
right,
like,
and-
and I'm not gonna contact anybody, and hopefully he gets
No.
back in there in September, and then we can start the conversation.
Because I'm hearing from some pretty good sources that revenues are down, people have stopped shopping there because of this whole thing.
Well, the whole thing
And-
is that
and-
he's loved by so
Yeah,
many people
yeah.
that it's like, I can't, you know, like when that strike happened, I wouldn't go in the stores. When
No,
it originally
no.
happened, I just,
Oh, that
you know,
one
I
you mean
started.
10 years ago,
And it was
yeah.
killing me because I loved, it's so
Same here.
convenient with everything
Same here.
that's there, but I'm like, I'm not walking in the store because of, what's going on. And honestly, if this turned around in September, if this turns around, that they decide to remove him for whatever reason may be, I could see that happening again. I could see everybody be just turned.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know many
There was a
people in
rumor-
our town would be like,
I
you
don't know if you-
remove him, I'm not spending another dime in that.
I heard a rumor that if it does happen, he's looking for investors to buy Hannaford's. Now, there's a rumor going around that he wants to buy their shopping plaza and keep it Hannaford's, and he'd be just trying to look for investors. That's a rumor I'm hearing. So-
There's so many different,
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah.
that's his baby.
Yeah.
I find that hard
Yeah.
to believe. Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, but
I'm
let's
not
just
gonna
say
say
they
no,
remove- but let's just say they
but
remove
I
him.
think that
If they
he's.
remove him, it's
Yeah.
what's next?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's like, I think that would be, when you have something that works,
Why fix it?
why,
Like,
yeah,
when
don't
it's not broken-
break it.
All right,
You know, it's
right.
like, you got something that, like, the people that own that place, I laugh, it was like, I used to work down Kelly's down Riviera Beach. And I was friends with the owners and things like that. And that place used to print money. It was thriving. It's like how much money they made down there. And I used to joke with the owner. He'd come in the morning, and he'd come in, and he always had like this squeaky voice, and he'd be like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" You know. And I was like, and he'd always be busting our chops and like coming in, and he's like, "I'm going golfing today. You better make me some money." And I was like, "Where are you going golfing today?" And for him to go golfing is what he would do is he'd go to the airport and fly over to Ireland and go play Bally Bunny and things like that. That's the kind of money he had. So one day I was like saying, I said, "Hey, I got a quick question for you. When you drop a quarter on the ground, by the time you pick it up, is it a $100 bill?" You know, yeah, pretty much. You know, it's like that's the way he would talk to you. He's
Yeah.
always always took care of his employees, always good to the people. That's why people stay loyal. And the same thing with Market Basket. You got people that go in who will start in, bagging groceries. And next thing you know, they're the general manager of the place. They take care of their own.
My son was started out as a bagger in high school, and now he runs the in charge of flowers, purchasing flowers. He's what they call a suit. He's out in
Yeah.
Tewksbury's, and it's unfortunate because he's not afraid.
Let's leave him
That's
out of
what's going on.
it. Let's leave him out of it.
Yeah.
Me what?
Leave your son out of it.
Oh,
No, but it's like I
It's
said,
a
I
family
got
feud.
many people that are friends of mine that work there, and they're all like, and they say the same thing. It's like, listen, this one's a little bit different because it's the family fighting. But the whole thing is, I've heard the same things. It's like, I don't know, you hear something, but just because you hear something, is it true? Like who said
Oh,
that?
right,
Like
right.
I could say something here, and then all of a sudden it goes spread like, oh, we heard it. It's like it came from a reliable source. I don't know anything. You know, all I'm hearing is what like everyone else
Oh,
is hearing.
somebody's, you know,
But you're hearing things that like, you know, the sisters want to get rid of the register workers and put automated and things like that, and he doesn't want to do that, and it's, like I said, when you go in a market basket, they don't have the automated things
No,
like that.
they don't.
You know, it's
No.
like they have, and a lot of people that get hired there, you know, they hire a lot of seniors in the fall and things like that just have a little bit of extra revenue when bills are tough and things like that. They hire a lot of special needs people that are working there, make sure that they have things. They
Absolutely.
hire, and he will walk, like I said, he will walk through and he knows most of the people's names.
Yeah.
And he'll go through it, how's your day going, what's going on, you enjoy working here, you know, anything we can do it. And if somebody says, you know, I wish they'd do this or like that, he'd make that change.
I
You
go
know?
one further with you as far as the employees are concerned. Cashiers, you said about waiting in line. I go to the same cashier, I don't care how far, because I love this girl. She's so nice and friendly, and she over on Bridge Street.
Yep.
And Linda, she's one of my favorites. She's always friendly, and I'll wait in line 5 extra minutes if I have to, because she's so friendly. Like they all are basically, but they. You always have your favorites. You know?
And I'd go to the other end of town to go to a different market basket. I had one closer to me, I'd go to the one on the other end of the town, because my friend's mother worked the register there.
Okay, fair.
Mr. Debutante's
Yep,
mother
Marie.
would be there.
Yep,
And
Marie.
I knew she was always gonna be there, and they would always be the same people in
Aisle
line.
17, that's where you went, aisle
Because
17.
we'd wanna go through, and, you know, and most of the people that were on that line knew that you were gonna take a little bit longer going through that line, because you were gonna have a little bit of a conversation with that person about what's going on in the community, how everything's
She was
going,
great.
things like that.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's how
And
this
the-
girl
and the-
Linda is.
And
Yeah.
if you wanted to go through one of the fast lines, we'll go down the end, but
Yeah.
this is for the people that wanna know what's going on. And so I'd purposely go to the, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? And
Exactly.
she'd tell me everything I was doing wrong, you know, but I'd love every minute of it, you know? But she was always, you know, if you took the time and listened and gave an honest answer, she'd always be your number one supporter. But those are, like I said, those are the little things that happen in the community. And like I said, somebody, like a corporate business would come in and say, oh, you know what? That line's not moving. That person's going too slow. Why aren't people, like, we gotta make more revenue, things like that. It's like, and they'd probably get rid of that person, because they'd be like, oh, people can get, the faster we can get them in, the faster we can get them out, the more service we can move, things like that.
Sure.
But they don't understand the reason I go there. Like, I would go out of my way to drive to the other end of town to go there to see that kind of person. Just because you always got what you wanted, you always, you know, you always found out what was happening in the community and just have a conversation.
Even at the deli, you have
Yeah.
your favorite deli person that will wait on you, because they're always friendly. They know you all the time. They know you by name almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's we don't get that in some of the other stores. You know.
No, I go to the fish market, and like I always go in and we like to make, you know, I bake salmon a couple of times a week. I love that. And I'll walk in and I'm like, you know, I'm looking for a center cut, things like that. And the person like, hey, listen, I got some end parts right here, but let me go in back and I'll get you a new piece and I'll cut the thing. Like, that's the service that people will go, and like, you know, it's like if you're looking for something that, you know, you got to make quick or whatever it is, but it's like somebody will go that little extra effort to
Exactly.
make you feel like, you know, you got the product that you wanted, you felt special, like somebody was actually waiting on you and giving you what you wanted. I mean, groceries are not inexpensive. You go to the prices of things have gone through the roof, and so if you're buying something, you want to make sure you're getting something that's quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully it all. I think I heard it was September 3rd. They're having a.
It's a
mediation.
family feud. I'm staying out of it. I got no direction from anybody on what to do, so people say, well,
I'm staying out of it to a point. Like, you know, we're making it very, very clear. We want Artie back. Plain and simple.
The town, you mean the town?
The town,
Yeah.
well, I mean, the town hall.
did you guys do a letter too?
We're in the process of putting one together.
Okay, good.
So we can't do it until we vote on it, and we don't have a meeting until next week.
Okay,
But,
good.
But that's gonna be something that we're gonna put through, and it's being recommended that it goes through. You can't say it's going through because the board has the vote on it.
Yep.
To say this is what it is. But if a letter's in front of me, I'm signing it. Saying I support his things, and we're gonna say, overall, we support the company. But we hope that these small, like, whatever you're fighting about seems silly to us. When you have billionaires fighting over billionaires about revenue, and like I said, the kind of money that's brought in there, like, no one in that company is struggling. You know what I mean? It's like, how much money do you really need that you have to have a family quarrel over something when you're making billions of dollars? Like, how much, like, if they all retired tomorrow, the sisters, him, everyone, they couldn't spend the money that they, by the time, in the end
But
of their
Mark, when
life.
you're on a board, and you
Yeah.
serve on more boards than I do, and you want one little thing, and you can't get the ear of the boss. I remember I sat on the CTI board a bazillion years ago,
Yeah.
and so put my hand up, ignored. Second meeting, put my hand up, ignored. Third meeting, oh, the new guy, did you have something you wanted to say? Yes, I make a motion, we fire the executive director. Bam. I got respect instantly from every board member for as long as I sat on that board. Because I wasn't taking their, because they just, some executive directors will just bowl right over you. I'm not going to listen, I'm not going to give you a hearing. But when he heard that, he called my cell phone the next day. What can I do to appease what's going on in your head? The guy's name was Jim Canavan. Jim Canavan, nice guy. But first 3 meetings, he ignored me.
Well,
I don't go to a meeting to be ignored.
I would agree with you on certain things, but like I said, we don't know what's really
A
happening
family feud,
behind the things.
yep.
But of the things that you have kind of heard, are any of them that important that they need to have, that they're willing to lose the reputation that they have as family friendly, good for the community, things like that? And that's what I think they're putting at risk of. You can have board members fighting and things like that, but once you start losing your reputation that you care more about the almighty dollar than you do about the
Well,
consumer,
see, Mark, I don't
that's the
I don't
concern
see
that you
I
may
don't see it
have.
that way, Mark. I think it's a family feud that's been going on for a while. And how it jumped out of the boardroom into the public's ear is puzzling to me. Because for the amount of boards that I sit on, any kind of squabbles we have, it stays internal. Doesn't go outside.
Yeah.
And how this jumped into the public's ear, I don't know. So I'm waiting for, if Artie DeMoss come out public and say, look, I'm going to settle this thing, just continue. Nobody's calming the waters. So that's the puzzling part of it. Because all Artie DeMoss has to do is go to the front of the store and say, hey, this is, and Channel 4, 5, 7, 11, they'll all show up. Put the microphone in front of his face. Okay, Artie, what's it going to take to fix this thing? We're getting no direction from anybody.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about corporate America. How do you, like the board of directors, where do they come from? I mean, how let's just say they
The
work
executive director works, the president works for the board, whether he or she likes it or not.
and that's Artie DeMoss.
Every
Right,
board of directors that you're on, if the board decides to get rid of them, I don't care if they call him the CEO, LMNOP, president, super president, Superman, I don't care what they call the guy who runs the company. The board can fire him anytime they
Who
want.
appoints the board of directors? That's right. I mean, can these people ever work with him again?
The owners, so that's the thing, it's like, so, like, say, like, there's somebody, like, there's a couple of sisters, well, they get the ability to, like, they interview and they hire these board of directors, and
Okay.
you have your people, I have my people, and it's like, and so whoever had controlling shares,
Okay.
they'll probably have more people that they got on their board. So if you got more controlling shares and you have more
Okay,
votes on
all
that
right,
board.
now I get it,
So
now I
I'm
get it.
sure there's people on that board that think that Artie is doing a wonderful job, and I think there's a lot of people on that board that think the sisters are correct. And
Right.
like I said, it just comes down to how much are you willing to put your name out there in the, because the whole thing is you do not want to sour like I said, you know how things go. You can order anything online. You can buy things on things. People are coming into those stores
You can go across
because
the
of your
street.
reputation and what you've done for the community.
You talk about going to your app, all you have to do is go to the Hannaford's app now, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, and you drive up there 20 minutes later and you pick up your groceries. They bring it out to you. You know what I mean? They bring it out to your car.
But I
Hannaford's.
would tell the DeMoulas sisters that Walmart down in Texas, they know who Artie DeMoulas is. They don't know who the sisters are.
Right, right.
And they curse Artie DeMoulas because they can't compete with the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Wherever he is in New England, they can't. Walmart, gigantic corporation, can't compete with Market Basket because they just can't. The service that's out there, the friendly feeling you get when you go in the store, if you want to find something in the store, you just walk up to a guy with a red jacket and you're going to get good direction.
And that's my final part of it. It's just, I'm not trying to side with either side really to a thing. I mean, like I said, I am kind of leaning toward Artie, but it's like,
I don't know the sisters.
But the whole thing is, like I said, yeah, I don't know them. I don't know. There may be good points on both sides that I'm unaware of, so it's hard for me to make a decision, or maybe there's somebody's right, somebody's wrong. But it's minor compared to their reputation of what's going on. And I think it would be better for them to sit down, figure this out before it goes on too long, and then all of a sudden people start saying, you know what, why am I spending my money there to listen to billionaires fight? And it's like, you don't want to sour the public, because right now, you had everybody in the palm of your hand because they all love you. You're doing what's good for the community. You hire the local people. You hire the seniors. You hire the kids that have special needs. You hire all the things. And you have great prices. And when you walk in the store, you've trained your employees to be friendly to the things. And now all of a sudden, you're having this in battles. And some of the people that have been in that base have been let go. And now all of a sudden, do the other people who are working there saying, you know what? Where I thought I always had a stable job.
Exactly.
Do I still have that going forward? I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing, and that changes the whole culture of the store and the reputation that they have in the community. And the longer it goes on, and the nastier it gets, like I said, all you need is one thing to change, and all of a sudden people say, you know what, maybe this store isn't, maybe I'll try over here, maybe I'll go here, maybe I'll go to other places. And,
I know
and,
people.
And like I said, once you lose people, sometimes you don't get them back.
I know.
You're playing a dangerous game. I mean, I know the money they make is things, but, I wouldn't be wanting to take that over something that seems petty squabble. I wouldn't be willing to risk billions of dollars over it to get my point across. If I'm making that kind of money, I'm like, you know what? We may want something to be a little bit different, but if it's working, don't break it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Because I know people have not been in that store since it all happened. They
Yeah.
will not refuse to go in.
Yeah.
Now, I remember hearing back in, I think the first time this happened was in 2014 when he was fighting with his cousin, Artie D. They said if they had just put those two guys in a room alone together, they could have probably worked it out, and they could have probably made more money than ever, but they were just both of them pig-headed probably,
well, you know what? When it all was settled and done, the other cousin left.
Yeah, but he had, Artie had to pay him.
Yeah, it is that other cousin living on some tropical island.
Oh, I'm
right
sure,
now. It's like,
I'm
you know
sure.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it's like, so when it comes out, I'm like, yeah, it's like, I'm sure that when it's all said and done, none of them are going to be hurting.
No.
Yep.
They'll never have to get a part-time job at Wendy's or
No,
anything, I'm sure, yeah.
and so it's, like I said, the thing that, like I said, once your reputation of caring about the customers, putting your consumers first over your petty squabble, things like that. That's the thing that I'm always worried about. Like you can have something, you can fight, your battle in the sand or whatever it is, but it's they better all stop playing well in the sandbox, because people will just get a sour taste in their mouth, and like I said, it's a scary thing to have.
Well, like I said, I read it, I think you probably saw it too, I think it's September the 3rd, they're having a mediation meeting or whatever, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
I'm sure something will come.
And like I said, I'm sure everybody has their good points one way or another, but when you see local people leaving, it just, that's a scary thing when they start firing people that seem to be just loyal to the company.
yeah.
Comment from the
That's
audience.
not looking good.
Once the local media found out about there was a feud, they pounced pretty quick to put their spin on it.
Yeah.
Of course. So, well, hopefully it's all straightened out in September.
No, like I said, the company has been nothing but fabulous to the town of Tewksbury. You know, like I said, if there's anything that, there's ever been any kind of need or something like that, quietly, Market Basket would always be the first one to come to need. You know, they're very generous.
Yeah.
Very generous in the community.
So Mark, before
we,
we, at 7 o'clock, Karen Cassella's
Yep.
coming, Artie Santos, so we change the topic, but just Tewksbury stuff. What's with the battery recycling or whatever? What are they trying to put out there? I see signs on people's lawns and,
It's not battery recycling.
okay, whatever. it might be.
So what it is that they're trying to put
Who's the they?
a corporate company that came in, and what they do is they work with the utility companies. So what they want to do is a battery storage. So they came in, and what they're saying is they want to build a battery storage park. So what happens is you need so much power during peak hours of whatever it is. So during the regular day, we're using so many kilowatts of power, whatever it may be,
Yep.
on a regular basis. Well, at nighttime, during the off-peak hours, that energy gets kind of wasted somehow or another. Like I said, I'm not all into I don't understand all of it, but these people came in and they said what they can do is they can take that extra power that's not being used and they can put it into battery powered, and it's cheaper. So they take that, instead of running the power plant all the time, they can take that extra energy, they can put it in these battery storage units.
I understand, so.
And the battery storage, now when all of a sudden you hit that peak, it's cheaper to take the power off this grid to do it. Their sale to the town of Tewksbury was if we're allowed to build it, and they claim it's safe, that it would be $1 million of revenue to the community. Each year. So, somebody comes in and says, we're gonna give you $1 million worth of revenue to have something, our job is to listen to them.
Why don't the townies want it?
So there's concerns, the technology, the battery storage, these type of batteries, and I know there's different kinds of batteries and things like that, but you've heard the stories and you've heard things happen in other communities where if these things catch fire, these batteries have, it's difficult to put these batteries out. So if you have these battery things and something goes wrong and they catch fire, it's in an area where there's a large senior population and a lot of commercial things of where it is, and they're concerned that if these things catch fire and you have a hard time putting them out, you'd have to evacuate an area, or the toxic fumes that would come off the batteries and all those different things. All of it is being vetted through state agencies, because that's who looks at these things. When you're looking at energy for the benefit of the whole community, it usually goes through the state agencies. Much in the same way if you get like a Gunkin gas line that comes through your community or type of things.
Right.
They review the needs of the whole, not just, the new needs of the community. They're looking at the whole need of the population. And so they're saying that this would be beneficial. It's kind of like a green energy. It's kind of one of those things that, it's got all the things that they're saying. It's energy efficient, it's green energy, it's safe, it's all those things. So they're reviewing it right now. It really hasn't come, they came and did initial proposals in front of the town. We haven't got any of the nitty gritty, because from what I understand is they're gonna be heard in either October or January.
Can you say where it's gonna be?
What?
Can you say where it's gonna be, the proposed site, or would you know where the?
Well, they're looking to put one off of Hillman in Tewksbury, which is not far from where Bayberry is.
They're gonna
And
build a
things
new
like-
building, right?
No, it's not a building, it's gonna be a pad where they're gonna have outdoor storage,
okay, all right.
battery containers, it's not a building.
So I'm telling you right now, Draco was
What
off
street,
$1 million
Mark,
in
what street?
revenue.
What's that?
What street?
Hillman,
I mean, Draco would welcome something
Hillman
like
Street,
that.
Hillman Ave?
Ave, yeah. So right now, there's commercial, there's a lot of and it's like an industrial area where there's there's the residential, but there's a lot of construction areas and things like that are down there. So the guy that owns one of the construction sites is selling his property, and the reason that they want this is because it's next to the grid. So the whole thing is they can take the energy off the grid, put it in the batteries, and put those type of things in. So those are the concerns that they're doing. Now, if anything is unsafe, there's a lot of concerns, we've heard of fires in California, these type of things, toxic fumes, kind of like that. No amount of revenue coming to a community is worth it if you're putting residents' lives at stake. But until we get all the answers, like I said, we're not even sure that they will get the initial approval. They have to get the initial approval from the state.
I was going to say about the feds.
Yeah, it's
The
a
feds-
state agency,
just state- okay.
so they'd go through, they're gonna review it. From what I understand, the state representatives, like I could go in and we could write letters saying, we don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want this.
Right.
Hillman
And they can
Ave
turn around
won't
and
come up.
say they want.
Hillman Ave, only Hillman Street does.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hillman Street, yeah.
Is this the area you're talking about?
That's exactly where it is. It'll be
Okay.
pat.
Put the
so-
satellite map up.
What's that?
I'll put the satellite map
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So where do they
So,
want this to go?
see where that, see where the
On
building
this-
is, see where up in the top, next to Clinton Street, right there,
Yeah.
see that building right
Yeah.
there? Over to the left of it, right there, is where they're talking about doing it. So there's that area, there's where there's
Looks
got
like
all the
junk cars.
vehicles and stuff like that in the back there. So there's if you go back, you can see the wires and the transmission wires that go across there.
Yeah.
That's where they're talking about doing it.
How
is
big of
in
a facility is it?
It's got to be like a pretty good size. I mean, they're looking, like I said, we've seen initial proposals, but we haven't seen a final proposal. So the National Grid has a transmission line that goes through there, so that's why it's a great place for them. It's close enough to the power grid. There's National Grid owns some property there where they have their power plant there, and they can take the power off of that and then sell it back at a reduced price.
Where are they out of? Where they come from? Where they?
It's there's
another
the transmission lines right there, as you see them.
The railroad tracks go right through here.
Yeah, but see right there, on the right, those are transmission lines that are going over the thing.
Yep, right here.
So this is a private company? Mm-hmm. And they were are they from Connecticut? Are
They
you don't know?
were-
Do
they
they
were
have
co-
other- do they have them in other parts of the
They
country?
have other
Yeah.
places, and
Yeah.
like I said, these places go around. So there are other places. There's one in North Reading, there's one
Okay.
in North
All
Andover,
right.
there's
Oh,
one
all
up
right.
in New England. So there's other ones that have built these things, but the concerns of the residents is that seems to be larger, and they're concerned about the technology, and it's so close. Like, I've heard all the concerns that, sometimes they build these places, they're not built as close to a big residential development.
Exactly.
So we have Bayberry there, it's like an Emerald Court, and that area, there's one driveway in that brings you out, that comes out of there.
Right.
And they're concerned if something happens and they have to evacuate the area.
Sure.
And there's some sort of concern, that they just want to make sure that they're safe. And like I said, all these things have to be vetted, but from what I understand, there's a number of companies trying to get these permits to be able to build these places, and so they're fighting for it. So we're not even certain that this place is going to be a viable spot.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
the company thinks it is, but will the state regulators who make the decision give them the initial permits for them to move forward?
I mean,
And until they move forward, it's kind of hard for us to argue about.
$1 million a
safety.
year, that Draco would welcome that. I know they would get pushback from a lot of residents, but our town manager would, wow, $1 million a year? That's a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if somebody says they're gonna give you $1 million, until I see the $1 million, it's not there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right.
I'm not, if I've got like I said, our job is to listen to the residents. Mm-hmm. If the population of the town comes in, if this went to town meeting, and that's how it was gonna be decided, that would be simple.
Yeah.
We go to town meeting, residents vote on it, okay, we can get $1 million compared to a couple of safety risks that we may have.
Yeah.
What do you want to have? And,
Sure,
if
sure.
it goes through, then that's where it goes in. But
Yeah.
if they're saying that, they don't want it, then it gets voted down.
Right,
This
right.
thing is more difficult because we don't have the final say. It's it goes through, we can make our concerns, but the state regulations are going to make the determination if they're gonna get this. So,
Oh, so you guys could just say no, but the state could say.
oh
no,
yeah,
they're
they
coming-
can
they're
come in
coming.
and say, the greater need of the overall public needs more energy, and we're overruling your local, bylaws and jurisdiction, and we're gonna
Sure.
say, because this is for the better, the greater good of the Commonwealth, we're gonna overrule your local jurisdiction, or what it is.
Right.
So that's where it comes down to. So, like I said, it's still up in the air until some sort of initial decision to find out, like, we don't even know if they're a finalist. You know, they claim they're doing well and they're gonna get it. But I guarantee you, all the other companies are saying, we're doing really well and we're gonna get it too.
It almost
So-
sounds like around 30 years ago when they were going to put a power plant in Drake. And
Yeah.
I remember going on a tour of the one down in another part of the state, and then all of a sudden they pulled out. Or they just said-
And our representatives have listened to the residents, and they've put in letters of concern with all of the concerns of, this is what they're worried about. And so those have been submitted for the application, so when they're making that decision, those will be heard.
Sure,
So-
sure. So,
We're gonna go to break soon. Last comment before we go to the break. If the battery company greases the right palms, they'll get their recycling center. Interesting. But it sounds to me it's as if it's electricity storage.
What's that? It's a storage, it's a battery thing that stores the power.
Will it be manned?
I think there's minimal, it's like I said, it's one of those places where it's like a standalone, you do it, and there's typical maintenance, and it's like they have.
Yep.
It's like, they'll have, they have all the alarms and whistles
Sure,
and things like
sure.
that. And if something's, like, they're gonna go there and they're gonna maintain it, but from what I'm understanding, it's gonna take very little care and maintenance of what's
Okay, we gotta
be.
go to break. Be back, thanks.
all right.
All right.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the August 5th edition of City Life. It's a cloudy day in Lowell right now. It's not going to be too hot today, but with us this morning is Selectman Chair from the town of Tewksbury, Mark Kratman, Assistant Registrar Arthur Santos, Attorney Arthur Santos, and the Register of Deeds, Karen Cassella.
Good morning.
Before we kick off, I just want to give a little update that friend Bob Hoey is doing miraculously better. He's doing really good. Every day's getting better, and hopefully it's going to continue that way, and the same for our friend Ned Tarmey. So the prayers have been working for Bobby, who was pretty scary about a week ago this time. So
Right.
I think he'll be back sitting here probably in a couple of weeks, knowing Bobby. He'd like to be sitting back here in a couple of weeks. So,
Right?
so
Or from the hospital room. We'll
yeah,
give him-
yeah, we could Zoom him.
Right, exactly,
And
yeah.
he's on the ballot too, right?
What? Well, yeah, I don't know where that's going to stand.
He has no intention of dropping out.
Really.
I was gonna say,
Well, I think his wife and doctor are going to have more of a say in that.
Bobby's the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him like twitching, like I gotta get out there, like that.
Right.
Yep, you're right, Mark.
It'll be interesting to see.
I ain't
what he
counting
does.
him out. I ain't
Yeah.
counting him
No,
out.
no, me neither. Me neither. So, but, so how you doing, Karen?
Good, excellent, yeah. Everything's going really good.
Everything's still
yeah.
going smooth down there?
We're
and
plugging along.
That's great, that's great.
Yeah, we're making-
Does it slow down for you guys in the summertime, or does it stay just as busy, or does it get more busy?
No, I would say usually it would be busier, so because most people are selling their properties in the summer where the kids are out of school and they're trying to get everything done before they start their school
Yeah.
year, so, but, interest rates is definitely a problem, so
Yeah.
being so high, we don't see, it's steady, but it's not, nothing compared to what it used to be.
Sure.
But, yeah, we're doing well, yeah.
Right.
They just changed our website a little bit, so
Oh,
I'm sure
okay.
there's a few people out there that aren't happy
For
about
the
it.
better? Is it for the better? Because I know, I always said that was a
I think
difficult
Karen looks
website.
just as pretty on the website as she ever did.
What?
On the new website, Karen looks just as
All these
pretty.
compliments.
Right?
You never gave Howard those compliments, you know.
Dick Howard, nice guy, but he was not pretty.
She treat you good, Arthur? She treat you
yeah,
good?
very
Good
well.
boss?
Yeah,
Good
oh,
boss?
yeah, oh, yeah.
I'll tell you a
Well,
funny
we've been
story.
friends for years, on
I
top
don't
of
even,
that.
I don't even know who the person was. I was in Market Basket a couple weeks ago, and they said, the guy said, it was a girl, she said to me, you know that Karen Cassella? I said, yeah. Well, she knows somebody that works there. And she didn't tell me the person's name. Well, she says, oh, this person is so comfortable. She loves going to work every day now. She didn't before. So you did something right down there. So
Right.
you made them people, that's what it is. If you're making your employees comfortable, I was just saying earlier about our new town manager in Drake, I'm hearing that from employees. You go to work now and you really enjoy going to work, 'cause she's making it a
Right.
comfortable environment, so you expect it
Well,
to
right,
work. But
and you want to treat them the way you would want to be treated by your boss,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
it
Karen,
works.
do you see, and same thing for Artie, do you see your customers being more online? Yesterday, everything was in person for the Registry of Deeds. And as the younger generation comes forward, they don't like to get out of their chair.
Right.
Are you seeing that over at the registry, that more and more stuff
Yes.
is they're demanding it be online?
Well, we do a lot more e-recordings than we do in person. So, we used to have, because we used to have lines out the door trying to get
I
at the end
remember,
of the month.
yep.
Right,
So, we don't see that now.
right. The
But-
law firms and title companies do it electronically.
wow.
So
Yeah.
they're just waiting in the queue. But, depending on like the document type and how imperative it is that you get that set on record.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have to come in, so,
But still, most of it's just done, never stepping a foot in the place.
right. And that's what I try to tell people, when you come in, if people aren't jumping up to wait on you, it's not that they're just ignoring you. They're actually doing some recordings, so,
Yeah, waiting on other people that you can't
Right.
see because it's online.
right.
And there's
So-
probably people that just still rather would come in, from the old school, that rather come in than do it online. Or they
Right.
prefer something like that.
So transferring the
get-
title is not automatic, it's done by your control?
Right.
A human looks at
Yeah,
it?
once we accept everything, then it's finalized,
Okay.
so. But we do have people, like last Friday, we had someone that came in, he had a decision. So things like that from towns, decisions, order of conditions, they have to come in. So we're trying to work with them right now to try to have them start to do e-recordings.
Now, how's climate control over there? Are the hot days, you guys comfy?
I am,
Yeah,
yeah, very
yeah.
comfortable.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
You ever comfortable with the air? Because I remember when my wife worked down there, it was iffy. Sometimes the air conditioning worked, sometimes it didn't. So you guys have a good...
well, they definitely have issues in the building.
Yeah.
Our
Your
office
is
has
good.
been fine, yeah.
Well, all I hear is like this, the roof's leaking, this is going on, this, the small little twerk. So long as they fix them, that's good.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. No, everything's been going
Now,
really
did you talk
well.
about, when one of the shows you were on with us here, about doing like some type of going on the road or a road show
Right.
or visiting the
Oh,
different
I
towns?
would-
Have you
yes.
started that already? You're gonna be
We have
doing
not
that?
started it
Okay.
yet. We're,
Visiting the different towns, is that what you're
Right.
doing, like probably the assessor's office, or how would you work that? Or
well, it would be more of speaking with like the manager, maybe assistant city manager, because
Okay.
the recordings will have to come through all departments, planning and development, the assessors, tax collector. So there are so many features to e-recording in so many departments. But it's well worth it. So when we have customers come in with a decision because they're doing an addition to their property, they have to have it on, and it has to have a 20-day stamp. So a lot of times, they get their decision, they don't get the 20-day stamp, they run to our office, we have to reject the document, and they're not happy. Then they have to go back to the town, get the 20-day stamp, come back to us. So it happened on Friday, and unfortunately,
Close at 12.
the city closes at 12 o'clock, so this customer was not happy that he couldn't start his project over the weekend.
Well, we were talking about it
So-
earlier, a lot of cities and towns are closing at noon now. Drake, it closes at 11:30, I know,
Right.
but they're open
And later,
on other
on
nights. like
Thursday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday, or whatever,
Tuesday,
yeah, or whatever it is,
Tuesday,
yeah.
Drake, it closes at 5:30. In the wintertime, they close at 7:30, but they expand,
Yeah.
but they close early on Friday. So you'll probably hear a lot of that from different communities, you know?
Right,
So-
right. No, I know. It would be nice to even, for us to have like a later time to work to, but we can't because of the courts. And then, it would just be a money,
Right,
getting
right.
security in there. And even Saturdays we talked about before, and the state won't let us open on a Saturday because then we have to get security. So,
Security, oh, you mean
for the
into the
court,
building?
because it's in a
cost to-
courthouse.
Oh, 'cause it's in the courthouse.
Right.
Right, yeah.
That's the weirdest thing, how you guys are in the court. I mean, are the other registries of deeds in courthouses throughout the state, or is it?
They've moved back and forth over
Yeah.
the years.
Yeah.
So it depends. Sometimes they want to say, well, if they own a building, they want to move it back into it.
Sure, because it really has
Saving the
nothing
rent.
to do with the courts. The
Exactly,
registry, you know.
exactly.
I mean, because like the registry of motor vehicles, they're separated, they're separate downtown, they're on Middlesex Street there and all
Yeah.
that, so,
Right.
Yeah, right down the street from us, actually.
yeah, yeah. So Mark, how are you? How are things in
Those places
Tewksbury?
move all the
I
time, those
didn't wanna
They do.
Yeah, so
get you in the mix here. How are things in Tewksbury? I know we were talking a lot the first hour, you keep busy.
everything in Tewksbury's fine, so we're,
You got everything under control, you and
yeah,
Karen?
we got great restaurants, we got great things going on, we got, people are happy, it's like not a lot of people complain during the summertime.
Well, that's what
If you
John
don't-
will say to me, what's new in
You know,
Drake?
like-
It's
but-
dead, it's
But
not.
when you get to the fall, and all of a sudden those water and sewer bills come in, then we'll get some complaints. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But the weather's been great, we get a lot of things happening in the community, we're doing some, we're doing some good things that are happening, the kids are gonna be going back to school soon, and it's like, I
imagine
always
that,
call
yeah.
this time Labor Day blues. I used to work in a restaurant business,
Yeah,
and I always found it very funny. It's like, you would think that this time of year, that this is where it'd be the peak for like all the restaurants to be going. It's the opposite. If you walk into a restaurant and things like that, it's quieter. Because people are at the beach, they're going in, and then you get the families, it's just human nature. All of a sudden, your kids are going back to school and you're trying to come up, like, I gotta move my kids back to college, or I gotta go school shopping for the thing. Like, go into a Target any night of the week this week, and you'll be amazed at how many people are in there.
Right.
It's
Oh,
just-
back to
they're
school
just-
shopping
they're
like
sc-
that type of-
Already, they're
Yeah.
already back to school shopping, and they're already getting into things, and people are trying to get the stuff ready, and I laugh because it's just, I've been through it myself, going, you see all the junk that people buy.
Yeah.
Because they think, oh, my kid's gonna need this, my kid's gonna need that, my kid's gonna, how many times I bought that stuff and it's ended up in the recycle bin.
Yeah.
But, it's, you go and you buy all the different things, the little containers and stuff like that they need, and, but what happens is, because you're gonna spend that extra money, and you're gonna have those bills coming through, you tend not to go out and eat as much, or you tend to start going in. And then you get into the middle of September, and then it picks up again. But it just, and then you got the kids, that, like, I always laughed that I'd always be hiring the kids, and come to the second week in August, everybody got sick. And what they really were sick of working. They knew they were going back to school, and
Right.
there's only so many days you can go to the beach, and they want to be there.
Yeah.
So, But, you know, it would just be those days. But like I said, if the place isn't that busy and you can give kids extra time off so they can enjoy it, you know, so be it. It always worked out. But those are the things that are happening in the community. So it's just, you know, making sure, and not only am I the chair of the selectmen, but I'm also the president of the chamber for Tewksbury and Wilmington. So I meet with all the local businesses and try to make sure, you know, how they're doing, how we're doing as a whole in the communities. Talk with a town manager in both towns and make sure that, you know, if the local businesses need something, help them. You know, if you get local businesses that are thriving, it helps the community as a whole. And that's the key of making sure everybody's working together.
Right.
So things like you were saying, one of the issues you had was with down at the office was like summer months with vacations. You guys like because you have so many people that have vacation time, they have to use it, right? And they don't want to go on vacation in the winter. So you probably have a lot. You have a problem with that? Or?
We have a skeleton crew a lot.
Yeah.
Mondays and Fridays, yeah, we have a low number of employees.
A lot of people take the Monday,
Yeah.
take the extra long
Yes.
weekend. Yeah, it happens in Drake, and I know there's a secretary out there that takes every Friday off in the summer, you know, so, yeah,
Right.
it happens. And they're entitled to it. You really can't, you know, they've earned it through their years of service, and, now,
Right,
have you
exactly.
had a retirement recently, right? Did you
Yes,
have a reti-
yes,
did you get
Martha.
Did you get to replace that person, or not? Did they allow you?
Yes,
Oh, you
we
got
have-
to replace it?
yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. 'Cause I thought you- did
But
you-
we're still low for,
Oh, compared to when you first started there, you told me
right.
years ago. Yeah.
but even so, with the number of employees that I have, with their time on the books, you can't run an office if they're, you know, we don't have the power in the office to take the documents in. So hopefully in the fall, you know, we didn't want to try to look and hire during the summer because we just figured the fall would be better.
You had some interns too, didn't you? Was that
Yeah,
for the
some
summer? Or is
interns.
that, or
Yes,
they come
we
in?
have
the
interns.
Great
Yeah,
job,
oh
yeah.
That
my
worked out good?
gosh. That-
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're thrilled
And
with
there's
them.
2 interns that they possibly, if we could extend them, because they don't have a job to go to. And I
Right.
have a lot that they could be
Thanks.
doing. So if the state is okay with it, I hope that we could keep them a couple, you know, even if it's for a couple of more months.
There's nothing better than having interns come in during the thing because you find out, do they really love the job? Or are they just doing it because they're looking for an internship? Or, you know, or they tried it and they want to try something else. But when you get somebody that's young that comes in and wants to do the job and enjoys it, and to be able to bring that person in full-time, you get to see, you know, what you're hiring ahead of time.
Right.
A lot of times you hire somebody and they're like, oh, they did the great interview and they're awesome. And then you hire them and it's like, oh, you know.
Right. I know.
But if you have somebody working for you as an intern, now you see, you know, how these people actually work habits are and things like that. You get to, you know, if you want to bring the people that maybe aren't their best, you know.
Right.
All right, thank you very much for being an intern, see you later.
Right.
But
that's-
the people that are doing really well, it's like, you know, you try to retain those ones that are, you know.
Exactly. No, every single one. We
We've been
have,
happy with all of them.
Yeah,
we-
they've-
We were fortunate in that.
they're never out sick. They've been in every day.
Great.
They've been great, yeah.
Treated them too well. What's going on there?
We had like
Never take a day off. What's going on?
We had a couple pizza days, just
Yeah.
saying.
We get them-
Because they've been
so-
doing a great jobs.
So we had
seriously.
to go to the old courthouse and get a lot of the old documents that were still there. I guess that some people will say there was duplicate documents, but in fact, I feel like that they are, you know, I'm the holder of records. I should, even if they're duplicate documents, what if we lose that aperture card that's in the office? I have another file for
Backup,
it.
yeah.
Right.
So we.
And clear scans, we're gonna make sure the scans, even ones we do have that are clear, because sometimes we miss, you know, they don't come out as,
So
Good as we
we went
want.
over last week, and the interns, I mean, it was like a little assembly line trying to get the books all out of the basement, up into the van, over to the courthouse, so
Wow.
we decided to do lunch for them. 'cause
And that
they-
building probably
Ooh.
nobody's been in that building since March
It's-
of 2020, right? So it must have been pretty tough.
Well,
you
they've
know?
been breaking in, so
Yeah, yeah.
there's been a lot going on over there for police department.
Well,
but-
Tom, over the years, we've had conversations about, like, the housing market. You know, to be saying, Tom, myself, Ned, we've been sitting here and talking about, like, what's happening in each community. and how much, the cost of housing and how it's gone through the roof. And you know, I'm amazed at, like, I still sit around and, you know, we shake our heads saying, how do people buy these $800, $900 million homes? Like, you know, I work hard, I make my money, but it's like, how much money are these people making?
Right.
that they
I
can
know.
just go out and spend, $1.5 million on something. It's like, you know, back in the day, there wasn't that many millionaires that could just go out and say, you know what, I'm gonna go buy that. And I kept saying, you know, and it's happened through history. You get a housing bubble, you get to a certain peak, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit of a recession, and then all of a sudden the cost of housing goes down. We haven't seen that.
No.
I mean,
No,
it's like,
we haven't.
it's just, if anything, it's stabilized, and I gotta, like I said, being the chamber president, I meet with a lot of the local businesses, and I talk with a lot of the realtors, and, you know, the last couple of years have been kinda lean for them, because there just haven't been that many houses on the market.
Right.
People aren't doing those transitions, and they're waiting for interest rates to drop,
They have.
or that bubble to pop, saying, you know, and I see a lot of houses that go on sale, and then all of a sudden it says, you know, under agreement, and then 4 months later, it's for sale again.
Yeah.
Because it just, the banks aren't giving out the
Financing,
money, the
that's what
it is.
finances aren't there.
I've seen that a
you know.
couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it
Yeah.
quite a bit, and so, and then you see, before, you know, you'd see a house, you'd go in and you'd see something for 700,000, and you go in and make an offer of 730, and somebody buys it for 790.
You're hearing that all the
Multiple
time. I'm hearing it
offers.
more and more.
Yeah,
That
but-
they want the house so bad, I want, you know, they
Yeah,
love the house.
But now, from what I'm hearing, I mean, I'm sure it's still competitive, things like that, but I don't see that overbidding as much.
Okay.
Because it's just, people can't get the, you know, the interest rates are so much higher and things like that, and that's the fear of people buying these homes, buying something, spending, you know, $1 million, and then, you know, 3 years from now, it's now worth 800,000.
Right.
You know, it's like, and having that offer, things like that. So you got realtors worried about it and things like that, but, you know, we're waiting for that, you know, the economy all these tariffs that are going on and all these other things, how this is all gonna play out. And, you know, when is that bubble finally gonna hit where people can actually start, like I said, I couldn't go out tomorrow and say, you know what, we have two incomes, we're walking, I was like, I wanna go buy $1 million home.
Right.
I couldn't do it, it's just,
Yeah.
couldn't afford it.
Right.
And just, but I don't understand how
Well,
these
there'll be
young
house
families
for.
are doing it.
I know.
And where they're making this money, that they're, you know, where is this income coming from? That
Right.
you can afford $1 million home and still pay to raise a family and put the kids through school and all the other costs that are associated with it. It's just, so, you know, when that does happen, and there is an adjustment one way or another, either interest rates go down, things like that, I'm sure your office is gonna get a lot
Oh, yeah.
busier.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in September.
Yeah? Are you
That
hearing
the-
anything?
That the rates,
I
I
mean,
think the rates are gonna go down in September,
so?
would be my guess. But,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks it's gonna be a huge, you know, decrease in the interest rate. I think that's kind of wishful thinking, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I don't think it'll go, I think it'll be incremental when it goes down. Like, we're not gonna see the days of the 3% or lower, you know, that's what I
Right.
think people are envisioning, and I don't see it happening. I do think it'll go down, but not like that. I also have been a realtor in Mass and New Hampshire, so New Hampshire properties at the beach have been sitting though for a while now. I've been watching them for, you know, some time. And I have friends that are selling their properties, and they've been sitting on the market. So that has slowed down at the beach.
And that's what,
And
the secondary, the play, as I call them, the play homes.
Yeah.
Are always the one where you
Right.
got your house and then you have like a secondary property, maybe out by the lake or things like that. And
Yeah.
those are the things. And when things start getting tough, and like I said, you're gonna see what's gonna happen with these tariffs, one way, good or another. And, you know, I think, you know, I think in the long run, you know, the president's doing what he believes is good for the, you know, the good of the country. We may have to struggle with some things, but in the long run, you know, getting people back to work and getting American-made and not being, you know, depending on other countries is, I think is somewhat of a smart move. I mean, you're gonna have trade, you're gonna have fair markets and all those different things, but it does seem like we were being taken advantage in some of these
Yeah.
other countries
Oh,
quite a bit.
definitely, yeah.
And so it's nice to have somebody who's actually fighting for, you know, what about us? You know,
And he's doing
kinda-
it. He's
yeah.
doing it. And
But the
I love
whole
it.
thing
And-
is, I think there's gonna be, to get there, they're talking about these things are going into effect, which just happened, and now all of a sudden the cost of everything, it might get higher. So now if you're paying more, for the everyday needs, do you have
Right.
that extra income to be put into
Right.
these homes? It just, that, you only have so many dollars in your pocket.
That's
You know,
it.
Where's it
Exactly.
all
That's
gonna
it.
go?
Yep,
What amazes me is that we're talking about the cost of homes, and I'm saying, I live on a cape that was built in 1963, one of those old-fashioned capes in Drayton. And I just, for the heck of it, got an idea what I get $600,000 for it. There's
Right.
another home in my neighborhood. The person passed away back in February, and it sat there since February. I heard it went, and it's basically a shack, and a lot of work to be done. $400,000. These people, I'm sure somebody bought this house to fix it up and then probably
Right.
flip
Flip
it
it, yeah.
for
Flip it, yeah.
You
$600,000.
can't buy a
you know?
garage in Tewksbury for $400,000. It's like-
Well, you live in a condo. I bet your condo's worth more
Yeah,
than what, yeah.
No, but the whole thing is, it's, like I said, you see where the costs are going up. I mean, I remember when I bought my home in Tewksbury and just, we bought it for like $300,000. And when we bought it, every one of the people that lived next to me said, I can't believe how much money you spent for that.
Yeah.
Like when
Right.
we bought ours, we
Yeah.
spent like 125 or 200 or whatever. And like the thing, and like now you think about it, it's like, oh, 300,000.
Right.
I buy 5 of them. It's
yeah,
like,
I know, right?
You know, right?
My daughter's fiance's family just sold their property in Tewksbury
Yeah.
for like $980,000.
Holy cow.
It's a garrison with a 2-car garage, like,
I've
don't-
driven by properties on different areas, and somebody will put the thing out there saying, it's a small house, but they'll put it out there saying, because of the land they have,
Mm-hmm.
you could tear this down and put a couple of places here and subdivide it, and that's why we're asking $1.5 million or something like that. And I was
Right.
like, all right, whatever. But you gotta have that money to be able to buy it, you gotta have that money
Right.
to be able to put all the investment in.
Fred
So-
Jeffers, good
Yeah.
friend of mine. Freddie, how are ya?
He's up at Alton Bay, lucky
Yeah.
dog.
Yep, he's all retired, a great guy.
Like I said, I don't know, maybe I went into the wrong business or something, but I just don't know where all these people have this expendable income
right.
to be able to just go out and say, you know what, I'm gonna go spend $1 million on this, and, and the cost of groceries are through the roof,
Right.
and the car
And they're
insurance,
they're having
everything like that.
families, they're
Yeah, and
having
it-
children.
Yeah, and like the
Right.
cost of education, everything else. It
Even
just-
the down payments are higher.
Yeah.
Right,
Even now,
right.
too, just for the down payment.
And the thing that's scary is because of what's going on and people, I think, overpaying for property, it's hurting seniors in the population, because if you go over and this house was assessed at $600,000 a couple of years ago,
Right.
and now someone just bought it for $900,000,
Right.
well, all the properties around you go up.
Right.
And so now
Yes,
somebody
yes.
who's lived in the community in their house, and now all of a sudden they get their tax bill, and their tax bill's through the roof, because all of a sudden, because somebody overpaid for a property, now that's affecting your taxes, and and they don't have any intention of selling, and all of a sudden they get the tax bill. And it's like, well, your house is worth more. It's like, yeah, well, but I don't plan on selling it, so what good is
Right.
that helping me, you know?
Right.
Karen, are you
know.
finding that, like, when you took over as registrar, like, people coming in and saying, like, well, that isn't the way Dick did it? Did you get any of that? Or, like, I remember when I retired, I remember the guy that replaced me said, well, that isn't the way Tom did it. Well, I'm not Tom. I'm the new guy on the block now, and I'm doing things
Right.
differently. Did you get any of that?
No, not
baloney?
too much,
Okay, 'cause
no.
sometimes you'll get when they've
No,
somebody's been there
actually,
for years.
people are more positive. They're like, oh my gosh, I love seeing your
Okay,
face on the
good,
website.
good. That's what I'm
and-
saying, because sometimes when
Yeah.
when somebody's been there for so long, you say, well, yeah, things
Right.
change. Things are changing, you know what I mean?
Right, and nothing's
And
changed.
changed for the good down your
Right,
place,
right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. And, I mean, we do have a ton.
Mr. McDonough?
I'm gonna do my announcements. I'm gonna shut your mics off.
All right.
Back in about 2 minutes. If you want an announcement on City Life, easy thing to do, send me a text and we'll be sure it gets out there. So moving right along here, Farmers Market every Friday, 358 Dutton Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Thanks to the community teamwork, they put this together, and that's on Friday. National Night Out. In a lot of communities, that's tonight. So it's National Night Out for the kids. The only one that I'm aware of in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, is up at the Morey Elementary School, 130 Pine Street. They used to have one over in Centerville. Sandy McNamara used to run that. And there was one on the North Common. I haven't heard a peep about that either. So It's a great time, free food. They have a lot of laughs, a lot of the bouncy house, dunk tank. It's a great time. So that's up at the Morey School, 130 Pine Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Any Tom, Dick, and Mary can go to that, and hope to see you up there tonight. Coffee with a Cop out in Tewksbury. You're not going to find a nicer place than Donna's Donuts. So they're going to have coffee with the Tewksbury Police will be at Donna's Donuts in Tewksbury on Friday, August 8th from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. for coffee and conversation. Can't wait. We can't wait to see everyone come grab a donut and coffee, say hello. That's this Friday, Tewksbury Police. Good service, good people. The Tingsboro Block Party. It's coming up the end of the month, August 23rd, Saturday, August 23rd. Start at 11, and they're going to have fireworks just at dark. So that's a good time to be had by all. That's all my announcements. Tom, back over to you. Thanks.
Not too many announcements. Quiet, summertime, that's true, yeah.
He's reminded me that I have to send them a couple. It's like I've been trying to, this is my favorite time of the year, because I go from, like, we have Memorial Day, and by the time I'm done with Memorial Day, I'm into 4th of July. I gotta do the fireworks. Then I got something going on, and now I got 9/11 coming up, and I gotta kind of put that together. I got a meeting this Friday to organize that. Then we get into Veterans Day, but the last couple of weeks of August is like the downtime. It's like, I don't have anything that I have to run around and try to coordinate, but it's like, all of a sudden, like, I got a call from the veterans agent. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a veterans, barbecue, we're gonna do that, and I'm like, where are we? It's like, it's almost when you walk in the store and you start seeing the Halloween decorations, and I'm like, it's July, stop!
Oh, yeah, That was a couple of weeks ago. I took my.
Let's
sent a
enjoy
picture to
the
my wife.
summer.
Yep.
Let's enjoy the summer for a couple of weeks. Let's take some downtime.
And after Labor Day, you'll see the Christmas stuff.
Yeah, it's like,
Right,
oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Michael's already does have the Halloween stuff in there. I was there yesterday.
yeah.
so-
It's funny, but when you had your little health issue, Mark, about a year or so ago, and all of a sudden it seemed Tewksbury things went on hold. There was Mark's on to do these things. You
You don't know how bad I felt. I was kind of out of it.
He just named them all. He
I-
named 4th of July,
No, but
Memorial
it's
Day.
like the seniors, they do like a Christmas party, and I always cook for it, and I do all the different things, and they canceled it. And then it's like, I do St. Patrick's Day, and they canceled that, and I was like, those stuff are dear and close to my heart, that like be able to volunteer and do those type of things, and when they found out that I used to work at Kelly's and cook and stuff like that, then it's like, oh, okay, can you come down and help us and do those type of things, doing the pasta dinners and things like that. And we got a great group of, people that volunteer in the community. I know I can pick up the phone and call 6 people and say, hey, listen, we want to do something, we're going to get together, and if I get those 6 people, it's done. We're going to make it happen, and make those things happen. So when I kind of went down for a while, it was just like, when I came back, I was like, oh, did someone pick up the slack and do that? And it was kind of like, oh, there's nobody. And that's the scary thing, because I always keep telling everyone, like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm waiting for somebody else to start picking up these things and say, listen, I'm going to take over this, I'm going to take over that. And, I'm just worried about what happens when you want that younger generation to step up.
Be nice if it happened, Mark.
Yeah.
So, Tom, you want to read this one? please?
We all saved for a home, drove crappy cars, didn't have $300 a month cell phone, and also our parents wanted us out, not living with them till they're 30 years old. Well, I have a 40-year-old living with me, but I'm glad he's there. He's like heaven sent for me, for us, so.
Well, I've had that conversation with a lot of people, and this is going to go into something else, but this MBTA communities, I have people saying, the residents in my town are strongly opposed to it. They think that the government's overstepping, telling everybody what they want, and, or how they want their community to be built. The traffic is horrendous. We haven't got a lot of mitigation for some of the traffic concerns that we have. And there's still concerns that if you build too much in one area, there's always the conversation about, if you have more people in there, then the businesses will do well. In my observations, I think it's the opposite. When you build a lot of places and there's going to be a lot of traffic, people tend to avoid that area like the plague.
Right.
They're going to be down there and saying, I'm not going down there. It's like, they may have the best veal pond, but I'm not going down there, if I know it's gonna take me, there's no place to park, I'm gonna be and when I get done eating, I don't wanna take a half hour to get out of there and try to get home, and it's just not worth it. I can go someplace else, And those are the concerns that you have. So you making sure that, listen, we know we need more housing to keep the people there, but you have to have smart planning when you're doing it, and just to tell people. But when you talk to the young kids, they believe that the more that you permit, the more you give, then the houses are gonna go down. And I'm like,
Exactly.
but it doesn't seem
No.
to, like, look at what they did up in Salem. They built all those houses up there like that.
Up at Tuscan Village.
Tuscan, thousands of
I
them.
got lost up there
I
last
said,
week. I went to the
yeah,
Capitol Grove.
Did you see the cost of any of those going
God,
down?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
they're
no.
going through the roof.
But it's like
Yeah.
a little city. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've been up there. It's like a little city. It reminded me of right in this Tuscan Village
I've
where
been
Capitol
there.
Grill is. And
Right.
oh my God, it's like, it's just, like,
Look-
you're not in Salem. You're like,
Look at what they did in Woburn. Like, you come off of Montville Ave, and you come off that ramp, and you go up there. In the back, they built these houses up there, like 5, 6-story apartment buildings, hundreds of thousands of them down there. Prices have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, they're not affordable.
Yeah.
And so, you can't convince me that, that mandating that you build something, like, if there's a parcel of land in my town, somebody's gonna buy in and try to build something on it, because you're gonna sell it the next
Right.
day.
Right.
And, so those are the type of things that people are trying to do, but it's just, we have the conversation with the kids saying, well, how am I gonna afford to do it? I said, well, pretty much the same way we did it. I worked two
Exactly.
jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
You stay with your parents for a while, you save the
savings.
down payment.
That's right.
If your parents were good enough to keep you in there for a while, because their parents did the same thing for them,
Yeah.
and you try to save to get that down payment, and then you work, and you save, and you work 2 jobs, and you do whatever you have to do to make it work. And it's like, now when you talk
But
to
if
them,
the
it's like
cost-
everybody's like, give me. It's like,
If the cost of material is up
Yeah.
and they're gonna build these ADUs, how is the rent gonna be low? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No, I
It
think
just,
that
I mean,
the cost of
so we're still
construction
in the
is through the
same,
roof.
right.
It is.
So now we have a residential area, residential neighborhoods, that's what I bought.
Yeah.
For the reason I want my kids to grow up with, in a single-family neighborhood. I would have bought in a multifamily if that was the case. Why should someone be able to stick that unit anywhere on their property and not have to go through zoning? I think it's ridiculous.
No,
I'm
it's
against it
like I said,
100%. There's plenty of apartments for rent right now, if you really looked into it.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not affordable, and that's the problem.
You-
So
you-
we're creating more of that.
I think people that move to a community and are paying the taxes and made the investment to make their community, like in our town, our residents vote for a new police department, a new school, a new things, and they're
Exactly.
paying through their nose
Right.
to build these places, to make it a nice community, and then somebody comes in and says, oh, we're gonna tell you how we're gonna do things now. It's like, wait, it's like,
Right.
I've struggled to pay for all these different things over the year to have the community that I want, and now you're gonna come in and overstate and tell me how I have to live, and how many people are gonna, and the traffic I have to deal with, and all the other things, after I've, paid all these taxes to make this town what I want. Now somebody's gonna come in and say, oh, you know what, we're gonna overrule you. I think that's, I don't think that's a recipe to make a great population. And they say, if we don't do it, then other people are gonna go to other states. Well, if you become dictators and you start telling people what they're gonna do, they're gonna go to other state a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people that have come up to me and said, if some of these things get passed and and our voice isn't gonna be heard, we're moving. I don't know how much further north you can keep going, but
Right.
it just seems to be, like I said, people have to start sitting down at a table and start having, and government has to start listening to the residents.
Right.
And that's really where it comes down to. It's like, I get this feeling that, that the concerns of the voters aren't being heard. And so that's why you have what's happening in this country.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh, this happened. And it's like, no, it's because people got sick and tired of not having their voices heard.
Right,
Well,
right.
come on, we all know whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, Trump could come up with a cure for cancer, blindness, deafness, and he'd still be no good in some people's eyes. He just can't do anything right. But he's doing what he said he would do. So a lot of people don't like what he's doing, but he said he's keeping his word. I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And he can't run again, so he can basically do what he's not a lame duck president, but yeah, he can't run again. So it's going to be interesting to see what who the Democrats going to come up with, really, in the
Right.
midterms. You know, it'd be interesting to see.
They're already talking about it. It's like you said, you can't run again. It's like they're already talking about
Well,
it.
that's
Like he'll find a way to.
Yeah, to-
Well, he already addressed it. He addressed
did,
it.
yeah.
I heard him. He said you got to amend the Constitution, and that must be. I'm sure you got to do a lot to amend the Constitution. You know,
Right,
so.
right.
But
So, I mean,
yeah.
back on to the housing issue.
Sure.
I had a neighbor they rented their home. Multiple families moved into this single-family home. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath Cape. Cars everywhere on the street. It was so dangerous for the kids to be out in the yard, like even riding their bikes. I mean, it was just, they were parking all over the lawn. Just, garbage in the back. My neighbors were coming to the house. Oh my God, we have to do something about this. So that is just something that's going to happen when you start creating more housing structures on these little 10,000 square feet lots.
Condensed,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
condensed
just not
areas,
going
yeah.
to,
The problem is that people do things with blinders on. This is what the problem is. This is how I'm gonna fix this problem. The problem is, if you don't look at the big picture,
right,
like, I meet with all different departments, I talk to them, and I'm a little bit older, so it's like I've been through it before. I've seen what happens when you do things and what works and what doesn't. And, history repeats itself. I don't care how many people don't understand
I
that.
say that all the
But
time.
if you make a mistake and then you go and think it's gonna work again in the future, it's like,
Right.
learn a little bit from the mistakes you've made in the past. And, we're gonna build this house, and we're gonna put these on. Oh, well, you know what? If somebody can't afford to pay their mortgage, maybe if they build this ADU, and then all of a sudden that income they're getting now that'll help them to keep their house and all things like that. Well, guess what happens? Well, now they go in and somebody goes in there, and now all of a sudden you have a couple of more kids, and all of a sudden the schools start going, and it's not just what goes on at the schools, because you can say, oh, you know what? The schools aren't having as many kids in the school as they did 10 years ago. Or people aren't having as many kids, or the classrooms are smaller, or it's things like that. But also, you got all these different things with special needs and special, so you got people that need, like, oh, you know what, I don't want to go to the school, I want to go here, or I have this special thing, like that. And, there's certain things that where, you have the population grows and you have all these kids going in there, your tax dollars pay for it. Like, we built a new elementary school, we took, 2 old schools, we combined the things. It was $120 million. The state paid like a percentage of like 30, but the residents had to come up with $70-80 million in their tax revenue. Well, now all of a sudden, okay, that solves our problem. We got a fairly new high school, we got this. Well, now all of a sudden, we're gonna build all these places.
Right.
All right, now is that school big enough? I
right.
don't know. It's like, and it's not just, like I said, you can't say, well, we looked at the size of the classrooms and we can fit them in. Well, yeah, that's if the kids actually go to that school.
Right.
We got kids that get transferred to other schools that the state regulates, you have to take care of their needs.
Sure.
And if there's $8,000 to transport this kid to another school, I'm paying for it.
Right,
Right.
right.
And so, if you bring in that many more people, well, how many other people are you gonna have that, like, and it happens in every community, and those are the costs associated with it. So now all of a sudden, you're like, okay, well, I'm getting this revenue from this rental property, but that rental property now brought in 4 kids to the school, and 2 of them are going to a special, it's like the cost, you're gonna look
Right.
at the total cost of what you're getting and how it affects your community. And if you don't have the say of what goes on in your community and somebody starts telling you what's best for you, it's a
Exactly.
recipe for disaster.
Right.
But
And that's
why,
like that MBTA thing.
what I'm saying.
It's doesn't matter. They're going to do it no matter what. And the people, I mean, Drake, I know, was not happy. They voted it down. Tewksbury, you say, voted it down.
Yeah,
I mean,
Wilmington, well, the whole thing is like, they came in, it's like, well, 1,200 units, 1,200 butts in the units in like an area. And the reason is because the bus line goes by it. Well, you got 1,200 units, and they're not like one-bedroom units. They're multifamily units. So if you get 1,200 units, you know, okay, so 1,200 units, and say if you get minimum 2 vehicles per thing, well, it's
Sure.
2,400 vehicles.
Right, right.
Now Wilmington has to build 1,200 units, and they got 2,400. So there's 48. You know, it's like where are
that's
these
exactly.
vehicles going?
Right.
Well, they're like, oh well, we built it next to a train line.
No one's taking the train.
The train, the station doesn't even have handicap accessibility. Doesn't have the things, and it's like if you got like not too long, like Tom and I are on the LRTA. I've had the conversation with our LRTA board. Prior to what we made a couple of changes because I've listened to the community when they're building this housing. Prior to like a year and a half ago, if you try to get on a bus to get to the train station, you weren't getting into Boston before 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
All right,
Well, whose
right.
job starts at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning?
Right.
Right.
So that means you had to drive in if you were going someplace. So it's like, we built it next to the train. Well, you also didn't
Right,
improve
right.
the services to get people
Exactly.
to their jobs. And
Exactly.
It's like you put the cart before the horse. It was like, you
Right.
know, that's like, it doesn't make sense. My biggest thing, and I've said it all along, where's the most affordable place to live in the state? It's out in the western part. Why
Exactly,
don't people
yep.
move out there?
Yeah.
Because there's no rapid transportation to get people into the job.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to make affordable housing, create rapid transit out to the land where you can now build houses for $400,000, $500,000 and make the investment to get rapid transit to get people back and forth to the jobs. And now you're not, why congest the already congested areas? If you're gonna make an investment, make it in that.
Right.
And try to get the people, so now all of a sudden, maybe you get people back to work and you're doing rapid transit. And now all of a sudden, there's stores that are going out there because now people are living out there and you put people to work. It's like, it's an investment, but you're getting money back from it. What they're looking to do now is a recipe for disaster. If anything, it's gonna congest the already congested streets. People will be leaving in a heartbeat, and it may shut down storefronts. So
Right.
that it's like, I don't know how that benefits the Commonwealth on a whole.
Right, and then you have another situation where you build one for that extra income, and now the people that moved in aren't paying the rent. You're gonna pay for the eviction, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. Good luck getting them out, right?
Yeah.
So it's just,
Now, that that thing you were saying about, it's in your neighborhood about the house
Yeah.
that somebody sold, and there's like.
no, they were renting it.
Renting it. but
Oh, it
I'm
was a
saying-
disaster.
But I'm saying, the Board of Health could have got involved in that, because you have
Oh,
to.
they
you get-
did.
Oh, good.
Oh,
because
they
you can only
did.
have so many square foot per bedroom.
But what
and it's-
happens is it becomes
man.
that you have to prove that they're not related. How can I prove that these people aren't related?
Well, you
Well,
also,
no,
you also
no,
lose
what's-
control
That's
of
what
your
was
home.
happening.
No, even if all of us lived in the same house together,
Right.
right here, and we had John McDonough, there's so many square footage per bedroom, we wouldn't meet the requirements. I mean,
Right,
that's
but I
how they-
think with the
if
city,
related or not related.
They
you know?
said, because they're family members, that there was nothing I could do. And I said, well, they're not all, they can't be all related. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you would see them come and go, these different families constantly.
Wow.
And
So the Board of Health did get involved. Good.
they had to,
Good,
yeah. I mean,
good.
the garbage in the back was, my
Has it
neighbor
been,
was,
has it been resolved, or is it
yes.
still? Oh, it's
Nope,
good.
it's
good.
all set now.
See,
But that's what
one of the
worries
things
me
that I've
about
always
it.
been in favor of, and it's like it always seems to work, is the family suites. So
Right.
what happens is somebody comes in and they have a ranch or whatever it is, and they have like an acre or a half acre, whatever it is, and they have the plot and the lot land to add on an in-law or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with COVID,
Right,
what happened is, you had people that in-laws or whatever it was, that were in Medford, you moved to Tewksbury, now all of a sudden you can't go and visit them because you're afraid of them getting sick, and there are all these different things that happen, and you were worried about, are they okay, can they take care of themselves, things like that. And then all of a sudden you have kids where they can't afford to go out and buy a $700,000 home.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, you have a house, you've lived in it, you raised your kids, they're all kind of moving on their own. Well, now if you built an in-law, maybe you could move over to that in-law, and you let the kids come into the house. Now you get to see your grandchildren, you get to spend time with the family, and or whatever it is, or maybe you let the kids, while they're young, they live in the in-law, and then, like, you work it out, but you have the family, and you're able to you're also able to take care of your own home, you get your family there, things like that. These ADUs kind of concern me, where you build something, and now you build a smaller dwelling
Right.
on your property, and then all of a sudden, these people go on there, and like, there's an argument, and before, like, if you had something and you say, hey, listen, I want, these people aren't doing, I want them evicted, and like that, well, they have rights that, no, this is
No.
my property.
Right.
You can't evict me from my property, I don't think, and it's your, you own it, but it's like I said, it's.
That's what I mean.
There's
It's
a
just-
lot of concerns with
It
all
is.
these different things of like, and like I said, one of the things that I've always found is you need to have, idle hands are always gonna cause you problems. So I love our parks and our schools and everything. Like, we made a big investment into Livingston Street because the kids are all down there. You go down there on any weekday or on a weekend especially, there's thousands of kids down there. They're all playing sports, they're all running
Right.
around, things like that. They're no longer sitting around Market Basket parking lot or McDonald's parking lot with nothing else to do. But if you keep building these places and building these places and building these places, and you're not giving stuff for kids to do, and especially if you build them in areas where there isn't a park or there's something for the kids to do, and they're all sitting around, what tends to happen?
Sure.
You have problems.
Trouble.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, and like I said, then you have to hire new police, new fire.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta look at the big picture of everything you're doing in your community to know, like, how, if we're gonna have this in our population and we're gonna have things like that, is this things for the seniors to do? Is there things for the kids to do? Are there jobs out there? Can cars get up and down this roadway without, doing it? Do we have enough shops? Do we have enough services? All the different things that go into effect. And can the schools handle it? And it's like, all of those, there isn't one simple answer to anything. There has to be people sitting at a table, coming up with a solution and saying, what's better overall for our community? And if you don't have the ability to do that, your community is in a lot of trouble.
Right, exactly. I agree. Yeah, I
And you're
agree.
always going to get, nobody's going to agree. You're not going to get 6 or 7 people
Right.
at a table. Always have these naysayers, or there's ones, we can't do that, we can't do that, I don't want that. Or the ones that like, what's that, NIMBY, not in my backyard
Yeah,
type things?
yeah,
We're having that in
yeah.
Drake right now with an issue. They don't want this development being built out in Drake. I think it's called Murphy Farm or something. But I mean, no matter what, because it's
Right,
in
no,
their
I know, you
neighborhood.
get the
If they were
pushback.
building that over near my house, they wouldn't even care. You know what I mean? It's just,
Right.
it's like, you'll always have that in communities, so.
Well, I mean, you gotta be able to, like, work together, and you have to be able to say every now and then, I was wrong about something.
Right. Oh, no, absolutely.
Because, I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody
Right.
goes in, they all go in with the best intentions and say, you know what, I thought I did this because I thought this would be a good idea. Well, you know what, it didn't work.
Right.
I was wrong. All right. Stand up and said, you know what, I did it under a good intention. But you know what, looking at it in the big picture, I made a mistake, and you know what? I learned from my mistake, we're gonna do something different. We're
Right.
gonna correct it. Don't just keep saying, you know what, I may be wrong, but I'm not gonna ever admit that I'm wrong. I'm just gonna keep forcing it down your throat.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, right.
it just, that's the problem. People gotta look back and say, I mean, I've got members on different boards where the two of us go like this. We'll argue things. But when it's all said and done, they're like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing for the weekend? You know what I mean? It's
Right,
like,
right.
it's like,
And no hard
but
feelings,
yeah,
just
it's
look at the
because
logical picture.
I love that people argue and fight for what they want in their community. And you know what? I don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers. But you know what? Some good debate and argument about
Right.
overall.
Agree to disagree,
And if the
I would say.
residents in the overall.
I say that all
have
the time.
final
Agree
say.
to disagree, and that's all,
Right.
I said that, I was going at it with a friend of mine the other day over Trump. He hates him. I said, Lenny, we've been friends too long.
Right.
Let's get together for a drink and forget about it. They said, yeah, you're right. So we shouldn't even be fighting about this stuff. It doesn't affect us in the long run. It doesn't really, you know what I mean? Just,
Well, I always say
yeah.
that about politics. I'm like, you don't have to like who I like, but don't be mean to me about it. And
Right.
I won't be mean. Like, let's be respectful to each other.
Right.
But,
And that, unfortunately, in the Trump thing isn't happening to a lot of people. They just,
I know.
I know.
they have blinders on, and they just, and, so.
But Tom, it's funny
Oh,
you
John's
mentioned that.
working. He's getting us all dressed up.
Right? All the construction over on Douglas Road is crazy.
Oh,
It's
I've
been-
heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're putting new streets in. It's great, though, because, It will be nice to have new pavement over there.
Sidewalks too, or just?
Yeah,
the areas,
sidewalks. I do feel bad for the people though over there because
I'm hearing about
it took
that, yeah.
a lot of their land.
Sure.
But you have to do it, I guess, right?
Sure.
Well, was it their land, or was it?
I know. I know,
It's
eminent
land they
domain.
maintain.
Right,
But the
I
whole
know.
thing is it a betterment for the community? And that's another thing where I go and I argue about, like, we put sidewalks in our community, and I have to sit there and I have to argue with my own town and DPW and other things and say, hey, listen, we're putting these sidewalks in, but we didn't put sidewalks in for 7 months a year. You know, we put them in for 12 months a year.
Right.
I want these sidewalks cleaned and plowed and
I know.
maintained and things like that. Nothing. You want to see me like face red and angry is when I'm going down 38 in January or February and I see somebody in a wheelchair driving down 38 because they can't get down the sidewalk. You don't want to be, don't want to be on the other end of the line when I'm on that phone because I'm just like, what's going on? Why is this person in the street? You know, it's like, why isn't this being done? And it just, and like I said, we have so many people working, we gotta maintain things like that, but I want accessibility for people, I wanna make sure, I don't want kids standing on a corner, you know, when there's the bus is coming, I wanna make sure that they're on that sidewalk, I wanna make sure things are safe. And like I said, we're doing such a great job of adding the things like that, but taking care of the maintenance and those things also have to be part of it.
Are you getting any complaints, Mark, regarding that Baker's Commodities out there on Woburn Street? I know that the city council's involved in it now. Kim Scott is with Otis, and then that board is Tewksbury. You guys getting many complaints about it? It was in the paper the other day.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it. Like I said, maybe there's some, not directly.
Yeah,
I
okay.
haven't,
So that board is-
I personally have not, but there may have been some other select board members maybe
Yeah.
got some calls, maybe the town hall's got some calls. Nobody has come to me directly and had complaints, but I did hear about it, and I was actually gonna give a call to Kim and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
find out what's going on
Yeah.
and see if there's something that we can do to, you know, to work. I mean, there's always a
Sure.
solution
sure.
to everything.
So we got like 6 minutes left. Karen, Artie, got anything you want to put out there? Got any new stuff to tell us?
Just trying
or-
to think of anything new.
Well, we're still working on this AI project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
been,
really?
yeah.
So it's coming close to fruition here.
Unbelievable.
I
AI,
know.
huh?
Working
Whoever
with the
thought?
state, they don't use Google Drive, so
Yeah.
we have to find another way to access the data. So the data's pretty much done.
Okay.
So Karen and I are anxious to see what it looks like, the final product. So, but it's pretty exciting to see that
Right.
conversion of handwritten documents into text and.
It's unbelievable.
It is,
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
I mean, it is hard
Big
to read
project.
those old deeds and,
Well, you just even now you're
Books.
going, if you Google something, all of a sudden it'll come up and it gives you this whole
Yeah.
dissertation of what you
Yeah.
Googled. It's amazing, you know
right?
what
Well,
I mean?
that GPT chat,
ChatGPT, yep.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that is crazy.
It's so funny though, we had some of the interns looking at some of the handwriting, in cursive writing. They don't know how to read cursive writing, it's so funny. We got the biggest kick out of it. I went to a Catholic school, so everybody
Right?
knew cursive.
Exactly,
And I
Catholic
thought they were
school.
kidding me
I
at
know.
first, and they're like, I can't even read what this is. We have like street indexes, and we're trying to
Right.
convert those too. And it's in cursive writing, and I just got kind of a kick out of it, but
Hey, tomorrow City Life, we got Linda Bounds, the host, town manager from Tingsboro. Colin Lozel's gonna be here, Lowell's mayor, Danny Rourke, he's coming too. Last comment of the day, when my in-laws bought their house in the 70s, they said, you're paying too much. When I bought my house in the 90s, I said, I'm paying too much. The problem is kids don't want the responsibility of being a homeowner.
Right.
Interesting comment, thank you.
I don't even know, are they teaching writing in school now? I don't even ask my grandkids.
No, not,
So they don't write, they just print.
Print.
That's- wow.
I've read that they don't even teach keyboarding. They don't teach keyboarding.
Nothing. Wow, wow.
And keyboarding's not gonna be going away with,
well,
but
in
now we
Chelmsford,
have,
Chelmsford they do, because I worked in Chelmsford prior to working with Karen.
and they're teaching keyboarding out there?
Absolutely, yep.
That's
They-
why Chelmsford's the 40th smartest school system in the state.
Well, one of the things that I'm always like talking about schools, I'm always talking about civics. Like we always had civics class when
Right.
we were kids
Sure.
and things like that. And it was
No such
Well,
thing,
when it-
yeah.
But it's like, well, and I was like, listen, you gotta make sure this next generation knows and you get, like, there's nothing better than I like to do is like all the committees on to get the kids involved. You know, because you have the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, or the, you know, the kids from, the honors classes and things like that, get them involved and, I
Right.
mean, get them to come to some of these things. And
Sure.
when they do, like, one of the smartest things I did last year is, like, before 9/11, we were gonna clean up around the memorial, and the bricks were getting a little dirty and things like that. So I asked the Boy Scouts if they could get down there and they could clean it all up. Now, we could have got somebody to come down there and did that,
Right.
but I got the kids down there, and they cleaned up all the things, and they saw the names of the people that actually died during that. And it's so, when
Wow.
you're doing something like down there, and you start out like,
Right.
oh, what are these names here for? What are these things for? Because none of them were born when it happened.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's a little wording lesson of why and things like that. And just, like I said, you gotta get kids involved and get them, impact,
Right.
have impact in their own community.
You still having an issue down at the courthouse with the homeless down the?
Oh, there?
You still having?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
over there.
I've
I
seen
mean,
it.
it's,
I drove by there, it was on a Sunday a couple of weeks, I think it was the day of the folk festival, and there was one lying sleeping on the
yeah,
lawn
they're
out
in the
front.
garage sometimes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The
On
new
South
garage.
Street too.
Little excitement at the
Yeah,
garage the other
comment.
day, huh?
I know.
The person trying to go through,
What happened at the
I
garage?
missed that, but I heard about it.
at Sal's garage, I guess somebody was had a little issue with the courthouse, might have been on, and they tried to go through under the bar to get out, not to pay.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Did they break the bar?
Oh, yeah, so.
Back to court.
In fact, that's when they came out of
Really?
probation, and so they were in probation, they think that the person might have been a little under,
Oh,
the-
yeah.
Doesn't make no difference, back to court.
right?
Were you there that day when it happened? Were you working that day when it happened? Was that last
No,
week? Yeah.
no, I was there.
yeah.
I wasn't like
Yeah.
right outside.
Sure,
But
sure.
I actually went by the other day too. There was like a homeless or someone in there. They had the ambulance, like 4 cruises. So it's
I tell ya,
a crazy
I tell ya.
area.
So
Yeah.
Mark, anything else on your mind you want to talk about? We got like
Yeah.
1 minute.
No, just want to say hello to my friend Linda. Tell her everything's wonderful in the land of Oz.
Okay.
She's the one who gave us that nickname.
Right.
Well,
That's
Artie,
right.
Artie, how about you? Anything we forgot to talk about? You good, Artie?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
good.
we're good. Yeah.
Take care,
Just
you happy?
Great having you. Just keep praying for Bobby.
Right.
Yes,
I know.
exactly.
And Ned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
John, I'll be sending you some things because we are getting to, like I said, the 9/11 memorial will be happening very shortly. We'll have that every year. And we'll have Veterans Day services and other things, so
Yeah,
I'll get you
summer's
some more
winding-
information to share.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Right.
Tewksbury's a better place because you're there. When you're not there,
Nope, we saw that.
Maybe. Some people will tell you that, then there'll be the other people.
Right.
so say goodbye, kids. We're
All
out.
right. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Thanks for getting up extra. See you next
Yes.
time.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.